All right. Hi, everybody. We are the Team Titans group. We did Remember the Titans, an example of leadership and teamwork. Yeah, next slide. All right, so quick introduction about a little bit about the film. It was released on September 29th, 2000. It had a budget of $30 million, and then whenever it was released, it grossed around 115 million in the United States, and then around 134 million worldwide. The film and several of the actors have won and have been nominated for multiple awards. Denzel Washington, he plays Coach Boone in the film. He's won several awards for his part in the film. And just kind of like an overall theme of the movie is fighting doesn't solve anything. You need to be able to talk things out and get over your differences with one another, or you're not going to be able to work towards the goal that you both are after. So teamwork is a big portion of the film. You're on a football team, playing on a team. It's a team sport. It's not one person versus the other team. If you have one person trying to be the big guy, big player, everything else is going to fall apart. And that's a really good example in the film throughout that shows that you need to work together. Next slide.
So for the film, the summary, nowadays it's hard to believe that not long ago schools in the US were segregated, where African Americans and whites had to attend different schools. Integration caused a lot of turmoil in the beginning. And in this turmoil, Remember the Titans takes place in a small town of Alexandria, Virginia in the early 1970s. The head football coach of T.C. Williams High School is replaced by an African American coach from North Carolina. Tensions arise when the players of different races are forced together on the same football team. However, many of those tensions are put to the test during their 2-week training camp in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The two head coaches may not see eye to eye on all matters, but prove as a great example that leadership can look differently through style and approach. They work together to teach these high school boys what it means to be a strong man of character. And they share strength and wisdom with their players through differing their coaching methods. When the team returns to Alexandria, they find the city in angst due to forced desegregation of the high school. And the players unite and make a stand for one another and learn the true value of friendship and what it means to be a team. As the season progresses, the team's success caused the community to accept the desegregation. And shortly after the Titans' perfect season, the team and the city grew closer than ever before.
There are several stages of team development. There is forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. The forming stage for Remember the Titans was the first meeting between Herman Boone and Bill Yost, when they decided that Herman Boone was going to be the head coach and Bill Yost would be the assistant coach. Coach Boone then made the team sit next to opposite races in order to unite the players. This progressed them to the storming stage, where conflicts between the players would lead to dialogue. In order to get through the storming stage, Coach Boone had to channel the team's anger. He did this by taking them to the Gettysburg battlefield to teach them a lesson about what's important in life. Next is the norming stage, where the team comes together and learns how to play together, They all walked off singing and laughing together, which led to the performing stage, which led to winning games. Next. Then there was team effectiveness. There were effective players on the team and ineffective players on the team. Some of the more effective players were Ronnie Bass, or Sunshine, and Louis Lastic. They used volunteerism to promote cohesion and unity and helped break racial barriers. And some of the more ineffective moments in the movie were the constant bickering between Julius Campbell and Jerry Bertier, Coach Yost being a little prejudiced in the beginning of the movie, and Julius and Jerry also being a little defiant towards what Coach Boone was asking them to do. Next. The formal leaders in the movie were Herman Boone and Bill Yost. Herman Boone was head coach. He was selfless, coercive, and had more of an authoritarian leadership style. Bill Yost was the assistant coach. He was more charismatic, organized, and had more of a diplomatic and tactful leadership style. Next. The informal leaders in the film were Jerry Bertier. He was considered an All-American football player. He was very charismatic and persuasive. Julius Campbell, who was charismatic, bold, and persistent. And Louis Lastic, who was an informal leader as well. He had low self-esteem, but he was actually the bridge between the white and the Black players. Next.
When it comes to leadership, our attitudes play a big part. In life, we'll experience both a leader and followers. We will also experience others as our leaders and followers. Whether they are amazing people or terrible people, we learn from these people, and your actions reflect your performance as a leader. The team would not have been united if it wasn't for Jerry and Ray holding themselves accountable for their poor effort and Julius being able to help. Change leads to our success. Without change, how do we succeed? Change plays a big part in our success. What I've learned is everything is right out of my comfort zone. For the successful future that I want, my location and stepping out of the box will help me find success. In the movie, there was a racial divide in the team. To create a great team, the coaches had to change the way that they practiced and the way that they thought and lived on and off of the field. Friendships. Our friendships help us to see our fullest potential. They see the good even when you can't. They believe in you no matter what. They also hold you accountable and keep things completely real with you. There's no I in team. The job can't get done without working together. One person can't successfully carry the weight of the whole team. Your teammates are there to lift and empower you so all of you can achieve your common goal. Have fun. Don't get lost in life. You can grind for your goals every day, but you can't forget to have fun. You might need it. People like seeing people happy, celebrate victories, whether they're big or small. Coach Yost advised his team by saying, you make sure they remember forever the night they played the Titans and their story lived on. Next.
So these concepts that are discussed within the movie, like segregation, integration, it seems to a lot of people that it's happened a long time ago, but the truth is it hasn't even been 100 years since all of these civil rights movements and integration has happened. And as a result of it, there's still many pre-existing prejudiced and negative attitudes and racism that still runs rampant throughout the country. So for an example as to where you may encounter stuff like this, diversity and inclusion is entering a work or schoolwork group made up of members that are very different from you, whether it's they're different from you in their beliefs or they just simply look different than you. How you can act as a leader. You can create a positive, caring culture, ensuring that no one is treated unfairly or is excluded. You can also encourage group cohesion and address related conflicts as needed. If prejudice or negative pre-existing attitudes exist, you should initiate change, through volunteerism, the social change model, or simply through servant leadership. You should also empower effective team members to set the example for inclusion. Other things you should keep in mind as a leader are language barriers and cultural differences and how those can affect the team. As a team member, you can help lead other team members in group cohesion and creating a culture that cares. You can also encourage positive, open, honest, and transparent communications throughout the entire team. You should also volunteer to break stereotypes, even when it's difficult, and even when you might be the first and only person to do so. You should also overcome those hesitations that may arise with that. You should also set an example by openly acting in cooperation and promoting group cohesion. This can allow you to break through those barriers or any issues that may be related to diversity and inclusion. Next.
Conclusion. Remember the Titans showed an adequate portrayal of effective team development and it was led by effective leaders to create a unified, cohesive team. And it was learned throughout the film that team development takes place in 5 stages: forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. A team is effective when it works together to break dividing lines and seeks cohesion into one entity. Characters Yost and Boone represented effective formal leaders with unification contrasting approaches to leadership. Characters Bertier, Lastic, and Campbell were informal leaders who modeled after their coaches, as well as bringing their own unique styles of leadership to the group as well. In real life applications, an effective leader creates a caring, cohesive culture, encourages unity, and sets an example for the followers. And all in all, the ultimate conclusion of this is that teamwork is everything.